Right, so let's go through the second bit of homework, which was second language or foreign language. Let's go down. Let's have a look. We're going to go straight down to these questions. Don't worry about these. We're going to go to these comprehension questions. What do some people warn will happen if more Japanese cannot use English? Well, the main answer is that some people argue that unless Japanese can master English, they will fall behind other countries. Right, next one. What are the possible causes of poor English ability in Japan? Exams are too focused on just copying text, just repeating text, grammar, translation. Not enough native speakers, okay, and classes are too large. Why are some Japanese against speaking English? Why? You shouldn't be forced to use English if you don't want to. In that video with Yuta, he's saying that Japan's economy can survive without it. Alright, let's move on to pros and cons. Pros and cons means for and against. These are quite hard, actually. So, this is, are you for or against making English a second official language? So let's see if we can work this out. Japan will not be able to achieve world-class excellence unless all Japanese have a good command of English. That's a P. That means it's pro, for learning as an official language. 2, it is practically impossible for all Japanese to acquire a working knowledge of English. That's a C. That's against. English is an essential means of survival in the international community. That's a P. The vast majority of Japanese do not need to use English. That's going to be a C. As long as English is just another foreign language, students will never study it seriously. Okay, this one's actually a P. Okay, so if it's not serious, students won't study. So if it is serious, they will study. So that's a P. That's hard. Number 5. English is only used as a second language in former British colonies. So it's only important in other countries around Asia, not Japan. So that's a C. If Japanese become proficient, means very good at English, their global literacy will increase. They will get better. So it would benefit Japan. P. Number 8, only those people who really want to learn English effectively. Number 8, that's a C. That's a C on that one. Number 9, now that the internet is essentially a global communication tool, Japan will lag or will go behind the international community unless Japanese can communicate in English. So that is a P. And finally, requiring that Japanese master English will undermine Japan's unique national identity and culture. So against changing languages, so that's a C. So that's quite hard, those ones. Let's move on to the graphs. Facts and figures. I'll just go quickly through this. So A is number 1, B is number 5, C is number 2, D is number 3, E is number 4. Okay, for the listening, then the first one, number 1, the word is daily. Number 2, it's common. Number 3, sharing. Number 4, English is also essential. Number 5, improving. Number 6 is entrance, exams. Number 7 is choice. And number 8, that's a different issue. So it's issue. Alright. What about the trues and falses? English is primarily a language of the internet. The primary language of the internet is definitely English. Yeah, it is English. Spanish is actually the second, but English is number 1. Catherine opposes forcing all Japanese to use English. That's true. Tsutomu says that Japanese should not all have to learn. Japanese should not all have to learn English. That's false. Okay, moving on to the last one. What do you think is the best phrase? The best phrase that goes in there. So let's have a look. Unless Japanese, what do you think? Which one? Become competent. C. The first one is C. Become competent. What about number 2? Some companies are even making English essential for promotions. Japanese corporations remain internationally competitive. Internationally competitive is number 2. What about number 3? Those who have not mastered these will suffer professionally and socially in the decades to come. Just minor reforms in English education won't bring about changes. So minor reforms is number 3. And the last one, we should hear our own nation's message first. This is against. We should hear our own nation's message first before we risk losing our uniqueness with a second language. Alright, so those are the answers for the homework. I'm not going to do this one. I'm not going to do this. You can look at that by yourself. So that's for the homework, which is chapter 1 of the textbook.